It is my honor to present an NRCM Environmental Award to someone who for decades led efforts to protect Maine wildlife at the Wildlife Division at Inland Fisheries and Wildlife. This same person was invaluable in our work to defeat extreme rollbacks of strong protection for Maine's inland wading bird and waterfowl habitat. Mark Stadler, please join me at the podium. Stand right here. Okay. For more than 30 years, Mark Stadler worked to protect Maine's habitat protection and addressing Mainers' concerns and passion for wildlife. Mark served as director of the Wildlife Division from 1998 to 2011, and in 2009 was named IF&W's Manager of the Year. That doesn't surprise us, most precious economic and ecological resources, our fish and our wildlife. As a biologist at the Maine Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife, Mark spent his career working to ensure habitat. We have seen Mark in action as NRCM staff worked closely with him on the efforts that resulted in the strong wetland, shorebird habitat, and vernal pool protections we have today. Mark was one of our star witnesses in front of the Board of Environmental Protection during the hearings on inland waterfowl and wading bird habitat last December. He played a crucial role in convincing the BEP to strengthen the Department of Environmental Protection's poor proposal for a permit-by-rule system for this type of habitat. And for those of you unfamiliar with this jargon, permit-by-rule is streamlined permitting process that allows less extensive and time-consuming review if a developer agrees upfront to meet certain standards. Mark's testimony was critical in influencing the board to strengthen DEP's proposal by increasing buffer requirements from 100 to 150 feet around inland waterfowl and wading bird habitat, wetlands. With some 350,000 acres of these wetlands in Maine and the critical importance a large buffer plays in protecting bird habitat and water quality, this 50-foot difference is a very big deal. So Mark, like everyone who cares about Maine's environment, NRCM staff are grateful for you for your excellent work protecting our wildlife and its habitat, and we are pleased to give you an award. Thank you. Say a few words.
Well, I'll be very brief. I've always loved wild things and wild places, and ever since I was just a little boy, this is what I wanted to do. When I was in 6th grade, I knew I wanted to be a wildlife biologist, and at the time I was living in Ohio, and my goal was to go to the University of Maine and become a wildlife biologist, and lo and behold, I was able to do it. And as I said, I've always loved Maine. I love Maine people. I love our wild places and our wild things, and I'm very glad to be a part of the conservation of that. Thank you for this award. It means a great deal to me. Thank you.
Sorry for the theatrics. Here we go.
One last award. The Natural Resources Council of Maine created the People's Choice Award to give their supporters the opportunity to acknowledge a person or group in their community who's making a difference for Maine's environment. This year, our finalists included Eric Hopkins of York, nominated for his work promoting energy efficiency, conservation, and renewable energy in local schools, government throughout York County. And Pam Wells of Old Town for her volunteer work with Maine Youth Fish and Game Association, teaching youth about Maine wildlife, and for generously allowing visitors on her 1,100 acres of land to also teach them about Maine wildlife, frogs, turtles, and other creatures inhabiting that area. She also shares her amazing wildlife photos with groups like NRCM for our various publications and website. We'd like to honor Eric and Pam with a certificate. Eric and Pam, can you stand if you're present? In absentia? Thank you very much. The winner of the People's Choice Award is determined by NRCM members and supporters. This year, the voting was closer than ever, and we had a record number of people voting. And even one person who wrote, "I can't vote because all three of these nominees are so exceptional." In the end, one person did receive more votes than others, and he is Bob Iles of Bethel. Bob, will you join us on the stage? Bob was nominated by his wife. Wouldn't we all be so lucky? For his land conservation work in the western region of Maine. He has served on the board of directors of the Mahoosic Land Trust for many years, during which he successfully spearheaded the campaign to purchase and conserve for the public a significant portion of Bald Mountain summit of Whitecap Mountain in Rumford. Whitecap has been a favorite hiking destination for generations of Maine people. Bob, a longtime NRCM member, continues to work tirelessly and with passion to coordinate the volunteers who work on trail maintenance for Whitecap. And his fans say it's nearly impossible to convey how many volunteer hours Bob spends on the Mahoosic Land Trust business. He is now quietly working to obtain another canoe launch site on the Androscoggin River for the Mahoosic Land Trust to hold for public access. Bob is described as a giving man who has put considerable effort into preserving special places so that future generations can enjoy the same places he has loved. And for these reasons, I'm delighted to present Bob Iles with the 2012 NRCM People's Choice Award.
I want to thank the Natural Resources Council for this award, but more importantly, to thank them for their tireless efforts in maintaining the quality of life that all of us in this room enjoy. In 1991, we moved to Maine after watching the bulldozers of development destroy many of our favorite places in Florida. When we got here, we were determined that we would work to preserve those places that we loved here. It's been fun to do this. I thank all my friends and the people who voted for me. I thank my wife, who has worked with me on some projects, who has supported me on projects, who has questioned me on projects. But she's always been there when I needed her, so thank you, Lyda. My thanks also goes to the Mahoosic Land Trust, who gave me an opportunity to work on conservation projects on a local level, whether it be preserving a mountaintop, seeking out new canoe launch sites, or just out in the woods working on trails. This is the kind of grassroots effort that we need in this state. The Natural Resources Council does a tremendous job with their advocacy and keeping the environment as we would like it. But all of us have local places that we love. We need to get proactive, join our local land trusts or conservation committees and get out and preserve these places. They won't be making any more of them. Once they're gone for good. We should be out there, as Sam said, enlisting not only older people, as most of us in this room are, but young people to carry on this cause, so that these sites that we love will be there for them to enjoy and their children to enjoy. Thank you again for everything.